My dad's cock balls deep in my mom. I was just going to ask for something for a headache. What's something you've seen that you can't unsee? Welcome back for another story time, my bro. So glad my favorite viewer came back for another story. If it's your first time, I'm Andrew, the best storyteller on all of YouTube. Since you're already here, can you go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe? That would mean a lot. And if you do, I'll send you Belle Delphine's actual nudes. Enough horny talk, let's start the stories. My toe hanging off my foot by a blood vein. My mother dying of brain cancer in a hospital bed. Death product. People gasp as they die, loudly. It's about the worst thing you'll ever hear. Don't skimp on heavy doses of morphine when it starts. The Facebook post from my ex, proclaiming how wonderful her third-year anniversary dinner was with her fiancé. The official mark of the beginning of their relationship apparently predates the day she dumped me from our 7-year relationship by 2.5 weeks. My brother passed away at the beginning of the year, and his dog was trapped inside the house for 3 days. There was blood everywhere. It was like viscera cleanup, but worse, I can't drink that crap away. I took care of the job so our parents would not see the details. I don't wish that scene upon anyone. Not as much seen as it was heard, but there's a video of a family driving, and a brick flies off the back of a dump truck and smashes the woman in the front passenger seat in the face, and all you hear are screams from the rest of the family. There was no gore in that video, just the horrid sounds. The old man tripped in front of bus, then his wife tries to help him. She tripped over him and went under the tire of the bus, and the bus driver didn't see her, then kept driving. Whole body pop. Old man survived and saw everything. My infant daughter on life support in the PICU after suffering cardiac arrest. She was only 11 weeks old. Passed away 4 days later. The gasping sounds she made as she passed away will haunt me the rest of my life. The ducking, absolute worst week of my life and a nightmare I'm constantly reliving. No one should ever bury their child. No one. Warning: this is ducking extreme gore. A guy being tortured. I think I tried to look for some infos about it, and apparently he was a rapist in Mexico that ducked with the wrong people. Some gangs took revenge of what he had done. He was tied with ropes on his arms and legs that 4 men kept, his genitals gone, and 2 pit bulls, 2 dogs, eating what was left of those on his body, literally on the wound. His arms and legs bones didn't seem to have any natural shape. And the voices. Take that away from me. The Facebook Messenger conversation between my now ex-wife and a guy she knew discussing how they were going to stage an abduction and assault. The conversation went down to how it had to look like he kidnapped both of them, that our son wouldn't go with willingly, so they had to drug him, and how she had tested drugging me with the name of the drug that she had in her possession. That also explained my 24-hour flu that came randomly out of nowhere the previous weekend. When I was 10 or 11, I saw that PETA video of an ermine, mink, fox. It was some little furry creature with a longish snout being skinned alive. Its whole body was basically degloved. At the end, they tossed the still living creature into a trash pile of other half-dead, skinned animals, and it was crying and trying to move. It ducked me up so bad to see that at such a young age. I'm still absolutely horrified. The image will never leave me. Kinda lighthearted compared to the other stuff I'm reading, but at a restaurant I went into the bathroom and a guy was in there just blowing it up. I typically have an iron stomach, but it was borderline dry heave time. After he was done, he got up, went and looked in the mirror, wiped his face off and proceeded to leave. No flush or hand washing. Stall door was open, so I saw that massacre he calls a crap. It was everywhere but in the toilet. On the way out, I saw him just chilling at his table like he didn't just spread hot tar in there. This lady walking a kid across the street, but she basically got him run over by a cab. I saw his leg break, like visibly break like a twig, and she makes him walk and try and walk it off. Kid was maybe 7. I called 911, she tried to kinda get away. There's more to this, but the seeing the leg snap on a lil kid like that both made me FKN angry and sad in an instant. There's one more story. I still don't want to believe it, but I legit saw a nurse grab a newborn's penis and pull it hard, making the baby cry. I heard later there was a nurse brought up on charges for abuse. I duck and smash her face if I saw her now. I don't forget the look. My sophomore year of high school, my health teacher had an old student of his come in and give a presentation. She works in forensics. I think he thought the presentation would be about what she does at work, how she got there, etc. Instead, she showed us photos of bodies her team had recovered. We all sat there horrified. The worst one for me was a week-old body they had found sitting in the Mississippi River. This duckin' lady said, "Look how cool the decomposition is on his tattoos." Rotten.com hosted a picture way back in the day of a guy without a helmet who had fallen off of his motorcycle face first. Everything from his nose down was gone. His tongue was just kind of hanging there. Lower mandible was totally destroyed. He was very much alive, conscious, and looking directly into the camera. His eyes were the worst part. The genuine terror expressed in those eyes is something I will never ever forget. The face of a 12-year-old girl. She and her mom came to my gas station to buy alcohol. Mother was piss drunk. Girl got some chips. Mother got her booze. Girl apologized 1,000 times before she helped her mom back to the cab. This girl looked like she was on the verge of a mental breakdown, 12 years old. Edit. A lot of people are giving me tips on what I should do. I'm not American, so your laws does not apply to me. I live in a country with heavy alcohol culture. Also, I took a wild guess on her age. She might be younger. When I was 11, a video of a Chechen soldier getting his head sawed off with a Bowie knife did the rounds on our phones. His grimace was the worst. His terrified eyes squeeze shut as the blade is jammed in behind his windpipe. Then his facial muscles all contract with pain as the guy just saws his ducking head off. I spent a fortnight holding my neck and clenching my jaw to my breastbone. But the absolute worst for me was a video of a train platform. The camera shows just beyond the ledge down onto the tracks a baby apricot, 9 months old, crawling around the track. Pa from a bystander looking at it crawling innocently around, grasping stones and shuffling its tiny feet over the steel track. From left frame, a massive train slowly rolls in, and the baby's head just crumbles under the wheel. The blood-curdling screams of the mother and other bystanders just made me wish I was a straight-laced A+ student who wasn't morbidly curious. Ducked me up. Former volunteer firefighter. Currently a paramedic. First witnessed death on Christmas morning when I was 16 as a junior firefighter. 2 mangled bodies in a Camaro that hit a tree doing 100+ miles per hour. I was 17. A man hanging from a tree in his driveway having set his house on fire. Christmas night. I was 19. Driving up on a 64-year-old male who was reported to have fallen and hurt his leg laying in a pool of his own blood just before he went into cardiac arrest. Also the blood that poured of the bed as I rolled the bed into the ambulance. The cat of the patient at the first cardiac arrest I attended with the ambulance service. It watched with only vague interest and had markings that made it look like Hitler. I don't remember the man. The first birth I attended. That was nice. The aftermath of a man who committed suicide by train. It was half a mile of pieces. He literally left a crap stain on the tracks at point of impact. His shoes, socks and feet were all separated. Every hanging. I've been relatively lucky and not been to as many. They're the worst. Too many gross feet. There could be another section on unforgettable smells. Despite this, I enjoy my job. These are not the majority of the work. Some nice ones. The moment I first met my wife. We met working at a summer camp. She had a big grin on her face when she stepped out of the van. When I proposed in a patch of clover in Budapest. Standing in front of family and friends on our wedding day. The birth of my son. I work as a peace officer at a hospital in Canada. While I was walking to the emergency department one day, I was approached by a family, father and 2 sons. The father said, "Excuse me, sir, can you help my wife out of the car?" Calm, collected, nonchalant. I thought this was your run-of-the-mill vehicle extraction, so I micked to my partner to grab a nurse and a stretcher. The father led me to the vehicle and I could see his wife laying across the back seat. Immediately I thought to myself, crap, she's not feeling well, definitely gotta help her out of there. When I opened the door, her head snapped back. I guess her head was leaning on the door, and she was staring up at me, eyes bugged out and wide open like she saw something terrifying. Startled the crap out of me, and I looked back at the husband. Same relaxed, calm demeanor as when I originally talked to him. I pulled her out of the vehicle, and I could tell she already voided, so I'm thinking crap, already too late. Nurse got on the stretcher. SND started CPR en route to the trauma room. After speaking with the father, I guess his wife had become catatonic about 15 minutes prior to arriving at the hospital and had stopped breathing. Instead of calling an ambulance, he decided to drive her there himself. Father claimed no drug use, but patient history showed she was an avid IV opioid user. Poor family thought she was just medically sick when really she overdosed. Really sad. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.